I really think that that's the future of real collaboration, right? Is not just collaborating across different fields, but it's also collaborating across different cognitive processes, across different walks of life, across different aesthetics and different experiences as well.
My name is Peter Hacha. I am on the team Outliers. Our team objective is to highlight how physical and digital fashion can correlate to create a process where we are able to reduce wastage of resources and time, and also to highlight other sources of revenue. Our approach is to find something that is most common to the West African people. So we decided to go with the agbada. Most common to the west side of Nigeria. That's the Yoruba people. And I think it's the most recognizable West African attire, very old. We want to create an upgraded version of this agbada using the old traditional printmaking techniques, and we're going to be pushing this out with a campaign video, a digital campaign video, creating avatars and other stuff to sort of like highlight the process of making this from start to finish.
I am Fagomila Oluwatoyin. I'm the creative director to Majestics Digital, and I am on Team Astom. I applied for Design for All program to upgrade my skills and to boost my career prospect. And so far, all my expectations have been met.
So, because we're going to start designing this week, we're going to design based off our research. So, this Zoom is nearly finishing. I'll open up another one and we can separate the images.
Yeah.
Like put them together and separate them and then use each of them, and we can all design off of each slide. And yeah, and then once we're all done designing, come together again and decide on the best 8 looks.
I was responsible for creating the digital model. I created the environment and the same for the virtual runway, and I also did the final rendering of the animation and the images.
The project has impacted my expertise in a way that I had to. Normally, I'm somebody that enjoys tasks. Like, I like learning a lot. When you give me tasks, like Google is my friend, so we'll go on Google. So with this project, there are some things that I had to learn, I had to improve on. I had to go and do some new YouTube tutorials, download new softwares, learn a lot of things. So yeah, it has really improved my expertise.
But my question was like, what do you struggle with right now? Most in your business development, or was there a particular question you had?
Okay, so I think it should be human resource. It depends on, because I'm looking I'm a journalist, right? So I like to work around with other journalists as well, because it's very easy to work around projects. Maybe I might be doing something, I might be tight, so I'll just send it to you, you just pick up from there. And because I work around different fields, it's often very hard for me to narrow down on journalists.
Yeah, maybe you don't need only generalists. Maybe you can look for specific people that can enable the process without knowing everything. Because that's how we also often do the project. It's really like, looking for the specialist that can actually help in that particular process.
We've had really excellent teachers who have held our hands through the process, guided us, provided support where we needed it. Damara taught us about AR filters and VR filters and how to essentially create filters and 3D bodies. That was very revealing for me, just basically because she was very practical in her class and she taught us in a very practical, do-it-yourself kind of way. So I really, really enjoyed that lab in particular.
Studio is the fur material. It just comes with so many different options. And once again, you can, edit the color and make it any color you want. And you can also adjust the scale of the fur, the UV scale, etc., etc. And it's always good practice to be in one simulation and then just change to a different video simulation. So you're able to see how your experience is looking on different body types, on different skin tones, and in different positions as well.
I said the highlight of it, of the residency, was the facilitators, including Damara and Michael. So the parts where I learned so much about like the application, the real application of the digital and physical fashion in the now, and how we would actually use it. Because like I had so many questions coming into this residency, and most of my questions, literally all my questions, have been answered from how like the application of digital and physical fashion and merging it together to have digital fashion, and how we can apply features, the NFTs, and how we can merge digital and physical fashion on social media like Snapchat, and just like seeing the behind the scenes of how all of these work and how it's actually really, really real, and it's no longer abstract in my head, like, oh, how will this work? How is this going to be applied in the real world? How do we merge the metaverse? So all of that, I've seen all of that in play, and it's been a very, very interesting and enlightening process for me. So yeah, I'll say that those have been the highlights of the residency for me.
For Nigerian designers, African designers, Black designers, to actually launch, Africa-inspired, kind of like, well, not just Africans, but just anything inspired or Black-inspired, pieces into the metaverse, because it's not Nike that's going to launch, that next thing. It's not Gucci. Well, these guys may come and steal it down the line, so if guys aren't quick enough, you're going to see that, guys, there's a lot of appropriation in the creative environments, right? So that goes back to the point of, trying to start out, trying to build out, trying to learn the community, learn the thing about community, and then, transition your works in there. So, it's not going to be a situation where we stop wearing stuff in the physical world. We're not just going to run around naked and stuff. So the NFTs is almost like an added piece to your toolkit. That's why I always say to artists, musicians, and anybody, still have your physical works, still have your prints, still do your physical exhibitions, but then start building for this digital world as well. Make sure there's a wearable.
I think it is very good to actually exchange in the digital field and also see how people are working and how they're using their skills. My experience with learning digital skills is you have to watch people. There is not one way. There are always 1,000 ways to come to your goal, to make it a design. So it's always nice to see how other people are doing it.
It's been amazing seeing what the students and the fashion entrepreneurs have come up with. Watching the final productions and presentations that they put together, the diversity of the work that they've put together, the ambition of the work that they've put together, and just simply the brilliance too as well of some of the work that I've seen.
The residency and everything I've learned has allowed me to embrace Web3 and NFTs in a more practical way. I see it now as a way to tokenize your brand and allow other people support your brand or buy into your ideas through a digital token. So that's something I'm considering in my own work, because I do a lot of bespoke work, and so I don't really have a way of owning the pieces I make, and using NFTs and a digital token to ensure that I can retain ownership, but also still allow other people to own the things I make, is something I'm really excited to explore going forward.
It's a project that I think is useful and should be, kind of wider than I think we could maybe widen the availability and make it something that obviously you keep doing and keep growing. And I like the fact that it's cohort based, so people are learning together, they're learning with each other, and they're progressing through a project, and it's skills that are useful for the future. It's, you know, future-proofing your career. So yeah, I think it's a great project, and I think it's a great cohort.
It's a really great initiative, especially to get people more comfortable with using 3D. You spoke about how some brands are a bit hesitant to get into it, and I think this is a great way for people to hear that other brands are doing it.
Be brave, be creative, don't be afraid to ask uncomfortable questions. And I would say disrupt the fashion future, and always remember what values you're bringing in and what communities you're talking to. That would be my advice.
I always tell designers this: you created it, you can create 1 million of it.
I think I'm going to take some time off to just process everything I've learned and look at my brand again, like from a new perspective, and then probably work on a collection that would incorporate physical and digital. That's what I'm thinking about in the near future.
After the project, I want to go into NFT zone. I want to start selling my works, my artworks as NFTs. So that's what you should expect from me.
Seeing everything come together in this final presentation is really exciting. I think there's a lot of really great ideas here, and I would urge everyone who took part in those groups to really stay in touch and see if there aren't ways of working together going forward, because we're at very, very early stages with this sort of digital application within the design industry, and I think it's really exciting if you continue those collaborations, because you never know what you'll be able to build out of it. I don't think that any of my students would have come up with the conclusions that you've had in these presentations alone. Really excited and really pleased with what I've seen. So congratulations, everyone.
Big shout out to the Assembly, British Council, and Ravensbourne University. Thank you guys so much for making this happen, for a very enlightening and informative residency. We're very grateful, and we're happy to apply all the knowledge that we've learned going forward into the future. Thank you.
Yeah.